Hey there, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to Conservation Conversations. My name is Ana Zangronis, and I work for the University of Florida IFAS Extension Service. This webinar series is a joint effort between UF IFAS Extension, Florida Sea Grant, and Miami-Dade County Eco Adventures. We will be continuing to offer this webinar series every second Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. through May. We really appreciate you tuning in today, and to save bandwidth, please leave your cameras off and microphones muted. We're going to ask if you have any questions to please type them into the chat box, which will be moderated by my co-host Ed Pritchard and myself. We're going to have the opportunity for question and answer at the end of the session. This webinar is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be sent out to you within the next week. Please follow us on social media, where we will be continuously advertising these webinars. And if you'd like to receive an email reminder with the topic and the registration link, please let us know in the chat box. Ed is going to throw my email address in there, and you can just shoot us a note and we'll add you to that list. Now I'm going to turn it over to today's presenter, Cristal Espinosa from Miami-Dade County's Sea Turtle Conservation Program. Take it away, Cristal.
Thank you, Anna, and welcome everybody to today's conservation conversation. So today's topic will be looking at the impacts of artificial lighting on sea turtles. But before we get started, we're going to go ahead and launch a poll so you can take some turtly cool questions. I'm going to go ahead and read the questions and options for answers out loud as you go ahead and answer that. So the first question is, what color wavelength is considered sea turtle friendly? Your options are blue, white, purple, or red. The second question is, does Miami-Dade County have a lighting ordinance or law that is put into place? Your options are true or false. And the last question is, what life stage of sea turtles are negatively impacted by light pollution? Your options are nesting mothers, hatchlings, or both A and B. So go ahead and answer those questions, and we'll give you guys just a couple more seconds to do so. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and continue. So a little bit about myself. My name is Cristal Espinosa. I've been with Miami-Dade County for over 5 years now. My current title is Recreation Specialist 2, but also I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator for our Sea Turtle program here in Miami-Dade County. And I'm also pursuing my Master of Science in Environmental Science alongside my job. And this is a photo of me from this past sea turtle season with one of our nests that we marked off. So a little bit about Miami-Dade County's Sea Turtle Conservation Program. We are a unit within Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department. Because we are working with a protected species like sea turtles, we do require a FWC permit. So FWC is Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. And so our permit holder and also program manager is Laura Dell. Now, what our program is responsible for is the marking, monitoring, and gathering data of all sea turtle activity on Miami-Dade County beaches. And fun fact, it's 19 miles of shoreline is what we are covering every single morning during the sea turtle season. And so for this upcoming year, we're going to be starting our sea turtle season March 1st, and it runs all the way through Halloween or October 31st. So it's a good chunk of the year that includes both the moms coming and laying the nest, the actual incubation of the eggs, and then the sea turtles heading out to sea. So we're going to take it a step back and we're going to speak more generally. What are sea turtles? So sea turtles are large air-breathing reptiles. So even though they live in the ocean, they do require surfacing for air. their bodies and also their large flippers really make them adapted to spend their entire life in the ocean. Sea turtles have existed for over 110 million years, but today, currently, there are 7 species of sea turtle that you can see in the world. So there's a cool graphic just kind of going over the 7 different species. So starting, I guess, from left to right, we have the Kemp's ridley, which is the smallest species. We have olive ridleys, the loggerhead, the leatherback sea turtle, the green, the hawksbill, and the flatback. You can also kind of see on the bottom left is like a silhouette of the archelon, which is an extinct species, but you can see just to what stature it was. So our current day sea turtles are much smaller, but still pretty large. And we're going to go a little bit into the 3 turtles that we primarily see here in Miami-Dade County and that nest here. So our most common sea turtle species would be the loggerhead sea turtle, the green sea turtle, and the leatherback sea turtle. The loggerhead, or Caretta caretta, is going to be the most common nester that we have here in our county. So roughly about 95% of our nests that we're seeing are going to be of this particular species. The moms will come and nest anywhere from mid-April to early September. They can weigh from 200 to 400 pounds. And the preference when they're of an adult size is primarily shellfish and crustaceans. They have a really large head that could be larger than ours. And they were called loggerheads because fishermen used to think that they look like big logs floating at the surface. But that large head and powerful jaw is going to be what is able to crush down on things like crabs and lobsters and sea snails. And so these are some photos. They do, when they're little, they're really cute. They're like a darker gray coloration, but you can see as they get to an adult size, they're more of like a reddish brown coloration. Then we have the green sea turtle, the Colonia midas. The mothers nest anywhere from mid-May to September. This sea turtle is the largest hard-shelled sea turtle, so they are a little bigger than the loggerhead, and they can reach upwards of 300 to 500 pounds. Just like their name, green, their diet preference is primarily seagrasses and algae, so they're more herbivorous. And the green sea turtle makes up about 5% of our nest here in the county, so they're not as commonly seen as the loggerhead, but we do still have them nest here. You can see the top left photo is a nest of a green sea turtle, and we like to call them large and in charge. And that's because they make a very large mess on the beach, but that makes them, I think, good mothers because they're really well, they camouflage their nests really well by spraying a lot of sand everywhere. And so this bottom center photo is of one of the hatchlings. So again, you can see it's kind of like a darker black coloration on the top with a white belly, and they definitely do change colors as they get older. And the last sea turtle that we primarily see here in Miami-Dade County is the leatherback sea turtle, or Dermachelys coraceae. This is the largest currently living sea turtle species in the world. They look like small cars on the beach. The moms nest anywhere from mid-March to mid-June. So in the beginning of our sea turtle season, this is going to be the first sea turtle that we get on our beaches. They can weigh anywhere from 1,200 to up to 2,000 pounds, and they prefer to eat jellyfish, which is really cool. They do lack a hard shell, so just like their name, leatherback, they have more of a rubbery texture. I like to think it kind of feels like a crock or a bottom of a flip-flop. And they comprise about 1% of our nest here. So we see them more seldomly than other species, but they still do come to South Florida to nest. So now that we kind of talked about the ones that we have here, I do want to highlight, all species of sea turtles are listed as either endangered or threatened. So they do have a lot of things going for them. Now, for Miami-Dade County, it is a critical nesting habitat site for sea turtles. So you can see the picture on the left is of a leatherback nest. So you can see it is comprised of a lot of these wooden stakes and roped off area to make sure that the nest is protected during incubation. And this is a really cool picture here on the right, kind of demonstrating what the nest looks like underneath the sand. So the mom goes ahead and uses her hind legs to kind of dig out this bulb-shaped egg chamber and can lay anywhere from 80 to over 120 sea turtle eggs. And she pretty much covers that nest up. She heads back to the water, and there's really no parental care involved. The nest can incubate anywhere from 45 to upwards of 70, even 80 days, and then they'll begin to hatch. So when they're getting ready to hatch, some of the sea turtles will start to come out of the eggs and kind of stimulate the other ones to let them know, hey, it's time to head out. And it could take a couple of days, but they'll start making their way up the egg chamber. And in moving the stand, it kind of creates these little air pockets so they can breathe and take breaks. But eventually they'll make their way up to the top, usually at nighttime, and follow the moon to lead them to the ocean. So again, a little bit about how do sea turtles find the ocean when they finally come out of the egg chamber and they're exposed on the top of the beach. They're going to be looking for the brightest horizon. And usually that would mean the moon or sky reflecting over the ocean. And then when we have things like dune systems and vegetation that help block out light on the beaches, it further reinforces the sea turtles, to be able to find the ocean. So we definitely prefer to have vegetation on our beaches to help with that. But what we're really going to delve into today is what happens when there's light pollution. So light pollution is a significant threat to sea turtles. You can see the photo on the left of a satellite aerial image of South Florida, and you can see we are well lit at nighttime. It is very bright, and that could be detrimental to sea turtles. You see here the photo on the right of a sea turtle hatchling, and it's making its way not towards the moon or the ocean, but you can see it's sort of like a street light. And so I'm going to play this quick video for you guys, and I'm going to share my screen on the new page. And it's okay if you guys don't hear the audio, it's just more to watch. So again, you can see those little hatchlings heading towards the lamppost. And as they're turned off, it helps redirect them to where they need to go, which is the ocean. I'm going to go ahead and reshare our PowerPoint. So how does light pollution harm sea turtles? Well, they can harm both the nesting females as well as the hatchlings. So for the nesting mothers, they might return to the ocean without laying eggs. So if a mother comes out of the ocean and comes onto the beach and there's a lot of harsh lighting and it kind of like bothers her, she might false crawl, which is when they kind of make a U-turn and they don't really lay their nest and they go right back out to the water. Another instance is that they might spend extra energy crawling around on the beach or after having laid their eggs, really unable to find the ocean. So this picture here on the left is a good example explaining that. So when the moms come to nest, usually, they come out of the beach, they make a nest, and then they head right back out. They come with purpose. But you can see the photo on the left, there's a lot of meandering. These are loggerhead sea turtle tracks. And you can see it's kind of zigzagging, going every which way on the beach. And more than likely, this sea turtle might have been lost and really couldn't make her way out to the water. And it could have been due to light pollution. And again, we don't want that. That's wasting a lot of energy. These sea turtles nest at nighttime. So if they're so confused that it then becomes the morning, they could become exhausted. So we really don't want that to be happening. And also, nesting increases on darker beaches. So we want these sea turtles to come back year after year, and having a darker beach will encourage that. This is a photo from, I believe, the 2020 sea turtle season. Some of our staff actually found a loggerhead mother in the morning next to an outdoor shower. So again, this is an example of what we really don't want to see in the mornings. We don't know, how many hours prior to finding this mom did she lay the nest, or, even come out and didn't lay nest and was really lost. And again, we just want to avoid things like this because they can waste a lot of energy trying to find their way back home. Now, how does light pollution harm sea turtles, the hatchlings? So as we kind of demonstrated with that little video, when the babies are coming out and they're following a different light source that's not the ocean, they might head into a lot of different dangerous scenarios. So they might crawl away from the ocean towards lights on streets, people's backyards, buildings. We unfortunately every year get a lot of calls on people finding sea turtle hatchlings in their pools, which again, we really don't want that. And also in getting kind of disoriented and further away from the ocean, that might make them more susceptible to things like predators, dehydration, exhaustion, and even death. So here's some photos of scenarios where our staff have found hatchlings. So this is stuck, a little hatchling stuck under a beach chair. This one was found behind a dune system, like in a grassy area. And this is a good representation of what we want our hatch outs to look like. So when the sea turtles come out from the nest and they head to the water, you can see their little flipper marks down here. And then you can see my cursor. But they create sort of a 45-degree angle. And that's the angle at which we want to see a successful nest hatch out and head out to the water, is that in seeing this 45-degree angle, we can assume that all the sea turtles made their way out to the ocean because none of them were meandering and they were all heading towards the general direction of the water. But this is what we see in instances of lighting. So similar to the adult female track, you can see these sea turtle hatchling tracks. And again, just, completely zigzagging, no sense of direction. And it's really unfortunate that they end up in situations where, they're eaten or they end up in a pool or a street. And so again, this is something that we see all way too often. Now, in surveying the beach and seeing instances of disorientations, our sea turtle conservation program will go ahead and document all these disorientation events for FWC. So this is an example of what the report that we fill out looks like. And, we specify things as if it's an adult or a hatchling, the number of turtles that might have disoriented. So a nest could be, just maybe one or over 50 or, closer to half or the whole nest disorients. And we know possible sources of light that might have impacted them. So some examples of light pollution sources are seen below. So I'll go from left to right. The top left is a street light. So you can see it really illuminates a beach at nighttime, which we really don't need that to be happening. This top center picture is of a lot of buildings and street lights, again, just creating a huge white light that's completely visible from the beach. And even though there's things like palm trees, this is not a lot of vegetation that's able to cover all this light. The top right photo is of sky glow. So even if you're in an area that's darker, just being closely adjacent to an area that has a lot of light can create sort of like an aura of light that's visible in the night sky. So even though it might be dark where you're at, it's so generally well lit from another area that it creates a sky glow. And then the bottom left picture, we have things like piers that still have lights at nighttime. The bottom center photo are boardwalks. Again, even though these lights are kind of lower, they're not shielded, so it's creating this halo of light that might be visible from the beach. And then just general buildings, condos, restaurants, bars are just creating a lot of light at nighttime. So this is a really cool tool that's actually available to the public. I have the URL listed here, but we're going to see if we could go ahead and add that to the chat so you guys can check it out and toggle with it. But this is an ArcGIS map that is made available by FWC, and it is the Sea Turtle Disorientation Survey Map Viewer. So this is a really cool tool to see all the disorientation events throughout the state of Florida, and you can filter it by year. I believe the earliest year they have made available is 2018. You can sort it by county, by species. You can compare adult and hatchlings. And you can see, I believe that this view right here is of all the years and all the counties. Every red mark is a disorientation event, and you can see there is quite a few. This next slide is more specific to Miami-Dade County. So the map is showing 2018 through 2021 disorientation events for our county. Again, you can the entire coast looks lit up with the red dots. We do have a lot of disorientation events. On average, Miami-Dade County has 140.25 nests that disorient per season, and 5 nesting or emergent mothers per season. So the nest or the hatchlings are the ones that we're seeing more disorientation events of compared to adults. And for the 2020 sea turtle season, we had closer to 800 nests for our county entirely, and 202 of which of those disoriented. That's a little more than a quarter of the nests are having, you know, a couple of sea turtle hatchlings at the least being disoriented by light. So I know this is a lot of doom and gloom, but is there a way that you can help with disorientation events? And I want to say yes, that there is. And something that we're really big on in the sea turtle world is implementing sea turtle friendly lighting. And the 3 key terms are keeping it low, keeping it shielded, and keeping it long. Keeping it low means having it lower on the ground where it's not potentially visible from the beach. So you can see the photo here of, you know, like a smaller light that might be on a boardwalk. Having it lower to the ground means that it's it could potentially be covered by vegetation and things like that. Keeping it shielded, so having a shield or like a sort of cone on the top of the light means that it is redirecting the light to only face downward, so that will eliminate the creation of like a circle of light or a halo and having the light just reach everywhere in the sky. So having it more shielded is redirecting the light to only face downward. And then keeping it long, so a longer wavelength, which would be a red or amber coloration, is better for sea turtles because it doesn't really bother them, but it also doesn't put any like impeding risk on people that want lights in their buildings for safety and things like that. So when we work with sea turtles at nighttime, if we have to, we always use red lights, and that's what we want to encourage homeowners and people that own buildings near the beach to also implement. So the picture on the top left is of a hatchling at nighttime, and again, you can see that red light is a better use versus a white harsh light. The photo on the bottom left is of a before and after of a building that implemented more of a sea turtle friendly light of that amber coloration. So again, you can see it's not completely pitch dark, the after portion, but that amber coloration is going to be a better alternative to a harsh like LED white color. And then the graphic on the right is another good representation of what different light sources or like light fixtures are better for turtles. So the ones in the poor category are again creating just like a huge circle of light in every which direction. More fair options are those that are facing downwards but can still use a little more help. And then the good to excellent options are shielded, closer to the ground, and just really refocusing the light to a smaller angle of light. Now with sea turtle lighting, there's something called sea turtle lighting ordinances. So this graphic is from FWC, and they have a whole page on lighting ordinances. But you can see from the graphic, all the light blue portions are counties that have lighting ordinances or laws that are put into effect, you know, that go ahead and state that people that live near the beach need to have either sea turtle friendly lighting, shielded lights, different things. And then the counties with the red orange coloration are counties that do not have a county lighting ordinance. So here in Miami-Dade County, there is not a county-wide lighting ordinance. However, you can see from the yellow dots, there are municipalities that can create their own sort of ordinance. So for here in Miami-Dade County, the municipalities that have their own ordinances include Golden Beach, Miami Beach, Sunny Isles Beach, Surfside, and the village of Key Biscayne. So, you know, these are municipalities that live near the beach, and they went ahead and implemented their own ordinance. But of course, having a county-wide one will really help in blanketing our whole coastal area. And what's cool is that FWC on this website, if you look up sea turtle lighting ordinances, is that they provide a model or template example for municipalities or counties that are interested in implementing lighting ordinances, but maybe don't really have sea turtle backgrounds or don't really know where to start. They have a template online, which is really cool resource to have. So again, in general, really trying to stray away from disorientations and light pollution impacting turtles. The key is really using sea turtle safe lighting, or if you live on the beach, turning off any exterior lighting where you can, closing curtains or blinds if, again, you live near the beach at nighttime, and writing to officials for turtle safe lighting. And then this picture here on the bottom, I think I saw Sarah tune in. I think Sarah took this picture. This is of a nesting sea turtle at nighttime. And again, it looks like it's in the middle of the day, but that's because there is just so many lights coming from these buildings that it's creating such an intense sky glow that looks like it's daytime, which we don't want. Again, darker beaches are really key to helping our turtles, especially here in Miami. So we're going to go ahead and pull that poll right back up for some totally cool questions. So again, I'll read out those questions. These were the same ones from the beginning, and there's also a fourth one, if you could please go ahead and answer those. So the first question is, what color wavelength is considered sea turtle friendly? Your options are blue, white, purple, or red. And you have, does Miami-Dade County have a lighting ordinance? True or false? The third question is, what life stage of sea turtles are negatively impacted by light pollution? Your options are nesting mothers, hatchlings, or both A and B. And our last question, if you could go ahead and please answer, is, do you intend to apply the information that you've learned in the future from today's presentation? Your options are strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. So I see about half of you have answered, so we'll go ahead and give you guys another 30 seconds to finish up this poll.
Well done, everybody. We shared the poll results so you could see how you did. Crystal, would you like to go over the answers for 1 through 3?
Sure thing. So for the first question, what color wavelength is considered sea turtle friendly? The correct answer is red. For the second question, does Miami-Dade County have a lighting ordinance? The correct answer is false. So the county doesn't have a lighting ordinance, but some municipalities within our county have their own implemented ordinances. And then the third question is, what life stage of sea turtles are negatively impacted by light pollution? The correct answer is both hatchlings and nesting females. Awesome. So with that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Before we go to questions, I did want to mention again, I am the education and outreach coordinator. So I do have my contact listed here on the side. So for anyone interested, if you're like a teacher or have a group that want to learn more about turtles, we do virtual programs. And you can also contact me if you have a group that's interested in doing beach cleanups to get our beach ready for the next nesting season.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Crystal. That was really interesting.
Thank you.
I want to mention to everyone that it's just about 6:30, so if you have to hop off, no problem. We are going to stay on with Crystal for a little bit of Q&A. And just as a reminder, this webinar is being recorded and we will be sending out the link to it within the next week. And we hope that you will join us next month for our next conversation on Wednesday, February 9th at 6 p.m. about stony coral tissue loss disease and where we are today. So please stay on. We've got some great questions coming in for Cristal.